How you can optimize your portfolio in retirement. That's what we're going to talk about here in a 3 or 4, maybe 5-part series. We're going to break these up in chunks here, so not any video is too long. But we are going to show you ways you can optimize your portfolio in retirement. And I think you'll like what you see. So don't forget to subscribe. Always comments, questions, concerns, always welcome here as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple of articles that I've recently read from the Journal for Financial Planning, which I want to share with you. Then I'm going to go some strategies as well. We'll go downstairs, get on the whiteboard, show you some strategies. I'll show you a couple of products that not that you should buy, but that I like how they work together in a retirement income plan. So it's going to be a little bit academic, a little bit we're just going to show you some techniques, sample ways to do this. And then we'll give you some suggestions on types of products, not individual products, but types of products that you might want to consider as you're looking to optimize your retirement income portfolio. So 3 parts to this. Stay with the whole thing. And again, I'm not sure off the top of my head how long we're going to do this, how many videos we'll do, but I'm going to try to optimize this to probably chunks of 6 minutes or so each. So we'll keep my eye on the clock down there. All right. So let's dive right into this first and foremost, because the first place that I want to talk about is I did a video yesterday on mortality tables in annuities. And I want to kind of focus not on that, but follow up with that with an article I just got done reading in the Journal for Financial Planning, the new issue that I just got. And this is called Annuitized Income and Optimal Equity Allocation. So before you run for the hills saying annuities are evil, I'm telling you, don't, because if you're not looking at annuities as part of an optimal retirement portfolio, you're wrong. And that doesn't mean go variable annuities and equity index annuities. We're talking about income annuities here is what we're talking about first and foremost. Completely different ball of wax than all the other crap that's out there. So let's dive right into this. And so this from my man, and this is from the SSRN PDF that was filed last year. And I'll put a link to the show notes. The new Journal for Financial Planning article is actually not available online yet because they're updating the One Financial Planning Association, onefpa.org website. So I'll put this one to you. A lot of this actually is almost verbatim, a couple of different paragraphs, but basically the articles are essentially the same. So I'll put a link to this in the show notes. But what I did is I had to save this to PDF so I could mark it up. But I will save this to a Google Docs from the PDF so I can mark it up. There actually there's a couple charts and you have to go back to the PDF. So let's start here first and foremost. The authors are my man Dave Blanchett, which is the head of research at Morningstar, and then Michael Fink, and Finky Fink, as he's a dean at the American College. He used to be one of the heads of Texas Tech, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, all right, so the abstract of this article. Now, again, the whole premise of how you can optimize your portfolio in retirement starts here. So don't overlook this because you got to kind of get the academics underneath you before you start looking at some strategies. An investor who buys an income annuity at retirement or who has a higher level of guaranteed income through a pension or Social Security should hold a different asset allocation than an investor who holds little guaranteed income. We use current annuity and bond prices to estimate optimal equity allocation for retirees with varying levels of guaranteed income who have higher and lower preference for income stability and bequest. We find that increasing annuitized income has a strong impact on optimal equity allocation. The average retiree will see their optimal equity allocation increase by roughly 1 percentage point for each percentage point increase in total annuitized wealth. That's a mouthful here, but just keep watching. So again, 1 percentage point increase, optimal equity allocation for each 1 percentage point increase in annuitized total wealth. And again, we'll dive into that. Our results provide insight into prudent asset allocation recommendations for clients who have higher levels of annuitized income. All right, so let's keep going down. Buying an income annuity with a portion of a retiree's retirement portfolio is called partial annuitization. So you got a retirement portfolio of $100,000. You take $25,000 and buy an income annuity. You've partially annuitized your portfolio. And that efficiently reduces the risk of outliving safe investments when funding less flexible spending goals. The non-annuitized portfolio then can be used to achieve an equity risk premium when funding more flexible spending goals. So flexible would be discretionary, non-flexible would be property taxes, homeowners insurance, that kind of stuff. Investment assets can also be used to maintain liquidity for uncertain spending needs. After placing a portion of a retirement portfolio into an income annuity, how should an advisor prudently invest the remaining portfolio? Or you, not just an advisor, but you yourself. Since a fixed immediate or deferred income annuity is constructed by an insurance company using a portfolio of bonds, intuition would suggest that the annuity should be purchased from the bond or safe asset of the portfolio. So remember, we're going to talk about strategy here. Unfortunately, there are no established best practices for asset allocation when an advisor or you partially annuitizes a retirement portfolio. So he gives us an example here. For example, if you buy a $125,000 income annuity from a $1 million portfolio that had a 50-50 stock to bond allocation, the remainder of the portfolio would now be $375,000 in bonds and $500,000 in stocks. Again, because you took the entirety of the annuity from the bond side of it. So what's left over in this case is $875,000, of which $375,000 is in bonds, $500,000 in stocks, basically a 60-40 stock to bond ratio. And you're like, whoa, Scanlon, you're crazy. I'm a 50-50 investor. You got me at 60-40. And again, well, we got you at 60-40 because 125 of that, the other 10% is actually an annuity, which is essentially a bond. There's no other way around that. But is this partial annuitization portfolio allocation to 59% equities as safe as a 50% equity allocation with a non-annuitized investment-only portfolio? Our results show that the substitution of an annuity for bonds will reduce income risk of the remaining portfolio, even though that the portfolio has a higher percentage allocation to equities. Huge. Our results show that the substitution of an annuity for bonds will actually reduce the income risk of the remaining portfolio. Higher levels of guaranteed income generally result in riskier optimal client portfolios consistent with the bond-like nature of guaranteed income. That's what the annuity provides. However, the actual portfolio impact varies considerably by the person. All right, so let's keep going down here. Now, let's see what time check. We'll go for about another 5 minutes or so. The optimal mix of risky assets depends solely on a client's risk aversion. Clients with a higher coefficient of relative risk aversion prefer to hold a higher percentage of their portfolio in bond safe assets. And more risk-tolerant investor will hold a higher portfolio in stocks. More risk results in higher portfolio variance because the standard deviation means that the stocks going way like this, up and down and up and down. You don't know if it's going to be up or down. You don't know. But if you're taking money out at a steady basis and it's going, I can't do it at the same time. Stocks going like this and you're pulling a symbol out of it. Sometimes you're going to pull money out when the stocks are way down here, and that's not good. So that's a risk variance portfolio, more risk because you have higher portfolio variance. Risk-averse investors prefer greater consumption certainty and are willing to forego a higher expected portfolio return to reduce future risk variance. All right, I just screwed that up. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. All right, so let's go back here. Risk, I just was right there. Okay, risk-averse investors prefer greater consumption certainty and are willing to forego a higher expected portfolio return in order to reduce variation in future spending. Retirement complicates the investment portfolio decision because the time horizon is unknown. Consumption volatility can occur as a result of both investment volatility, but also the fact you don't know when you're going to die. And then you have a risk of outliving your assets. All right, so probably a good point to take a break there. Okay, we'll finish up this and we'll go to substituting income annuities for bonds. There was this David Off Brown and Diamond in 2005 show that an investor who wishes to fund more income in retirement would maximize their utility by placing a healthy percentage of their savings in an annuity, even if they want to leave money to heirs. Annuities reduce the utility consequence of running out of money by providing a guaranteed lifetime income that provides a higher level of minimum spending. Yeah, I'm going to keep going because this right here is the most important thing. All else being equal, A retiree who invests $1 in an income annuity rather than a bond whose duration is matched to a safe spending need in retirement will be able to spend more each year at the same failure rate because of the mortality credits provided by the annuity. Annuities can be viewed as a bond investment pooled with other retirees that provides protection against the risk of outliving assets unavailable with a non-annuitized bond investment. That's what mortality credits are. When I talked about mortality credits yesterday in my video on why you need a deferred annuity now. So an insurance company says you got a 15-year life expectancy, this cohort of people we're going to shore for annuities, but you're going to live 20. This guy down here who smokes and drinks and skydives, he's going to live 10. So when he dies, he's taking income from him and going to you. That's your mortality credit. You do not get that in a laddered bond portfolio or a non-annuitized investment. The people who live longer are being subsidized by the people who die sooner. But the people who die sooner don't know they're going to die sooner. So that's the risk. You don't know. So we're going to pool our risk together, and on average, we're going to come right here. That's our average. But some people are going to be here, and some people are going to be there. We just don't know who that's going to be. Yeah, it can take a probability. If you're a man, you smoke, you skydive, you're more likely to die early. If you're a woman, you exercise and don't eat carbs, you're more likely to last longer. We talk about that. When asset returns are known at retirement, for example, if the retiree creates a bond ladder, the likelihood of ruin is affected by the probability that one will live longer than the last bond payment. Bond ladders provide a useful lens through which you can also view the benefit of annuitization, since annuities will provide a higher expected income per dollar spent if the retiree lives longer than the average predicted by the insurance company actuaries. A retiree who builds a bond ladder is exposed to greater risk of ruin and lower expected income if they build the ladder to last beyond longevity. The longer the length of the bond ladder, the lower the probability of ruin, but the higher the expected income gain from annuitization. And here, just all you're doing is just saying, look, I'm going to live 15 years. I'm going to ladder my bond. And one bond is going to mature each year for the next 15. But if I live to year 16, I'm goose. My goose is cooked because I have no more bonds in which I can draw income from. So instead of that, I'm going to think I'm going to live for 25 years. So I'm going to ladder my bonds for 25 years. Well, what if you only live for 15 years? That means you're spending less money than you could have. And that's the seesaw effect of bonds and income. The more income you need, the more income you need, the shorter your bond ladder is going to be, which is fine if you don't live until that you die, which is fine if you don't live beyond your bond ladder. But what happens if you live 16 years when your bond ladder is only 15? Your goose is cooked. Okay, so I'm going to offset that by going to make my bond ladder 25 years. 25 years, which means I have less income to live on, but I still need more income. So what are you going to do? And that's the risk. The risk of your longevity is if you live 1 year beyond your bond ladder, you're doomed. Annuitization allows the retiree to spend as if they have a time horizon equal to slightly longer than the average longevity. This means they'll spend more than if they built a bond ladder well beyond the average longevity. Okay, I think that's probably a good place to stop, because the next part, we're going to start looking at some of the graphs they use. Yeah, okay, good. So we're going to do a comparison of bond ladders and immediate annuities. So stay with me here. Again, part one of, a 4, 5, 6-part series. So don't forget to subscribe. And now we're going to talk a little bit more detailed, the comparison between bond ladders and immediate annuities and how that can maximize your retirement portfolio, because we're going to include stocks here in just a second. Thanks, guys.